Hi, we are going to talk about your trip, about your experience in these European coworkings, and I would like to develop in the next videos how to make the most of European mentoring. For you, maybe it's the first time with mentors, for others, you're coming from other accelerators and you have experience, but having this international experience will be different. So the idea is that today we will talk about strategy because I think it's very important for you. In the interviews, I detect that sometimes it's not very clear for you what you can develop in this program, and to achieve your goals, it's really important to know what do you need. And that means what are the challenges that your company face now, and how are you going to take them. Of course, it's a kind of a strategy, and I know that for startups, many times that's difficult because we have a lot of activities every day, we have a lot of things to do every day, and many times we don't have the time or the, let's say, the patience to step down a little bit and understand what we need for the future because the daily tasks are like absorbing all our time. Of course, it's not the same for every one of you, and I think we have like three different stages in this program. We have companies that are in an early stage, that they have an idea and they are trying to understand if that makes sense or not. Other companies are a little bit more mature, maybe the ones that finishes one of the acceleration programs and they have like everything more or less validated, but they need to go to a new market and they are in the starting point. And other ones are more mature and they are thinking about how to grow. They are in a growing phase and they would like to use this program to grow in Europe. Of course, different phases means different challenges, and this is something we're going to talk about. If you are in the early stage, probably the main goal now is validate the idea. You know that we are working with lean startup, and that means that we are so focused on customer discovery, customer validation, so everything related to customer development. It's not your idea, it's not what you think about what you're doing, it's what the customers are thinking about this. And the first thing to do is validate the idea. For this, we will use the interviews, we will create MVPs, we will try to discover the market, also understand who are the competitors, who is in the market, and understand if it makes sense to do what we are thinking or not. What's happened usually is we change things, we need to improve the idea, and what we name pivot. That means change something important in our company in order to be better in the market, to achieve this market and product market fit. This is something you can develop, of course, at home, but also you can develop with the mentors outside. Build a team. We have many solopreneurs, so people that are alone. That is not bad for the beginning because you can do what you want, you can be fast, you can make your own decisions, but if we are thinking in a long time, probably it's not enough one person to develop a project, so you will need a team. That means that maybe you will need some partners, people that are in the business with you. Of course, we'll talk about how is having a partner, how to find them, but in one talk some weeks later. And maybe that means also have your first employees. That also is a challenge in order to pay the salaries, but at this moment we need to understand what we need, where we can find this talent, and how to attract the talent to our company. It's something so important for the future of the company. And at the end, if an idea or a project is becoming real, we will need a product. And here I talk always about products, but that means also services. We have many service providers, and this is at the end is a product. So is to create what do you sell. That means define the offer, define how you communicate with others, and also understand what is the price that the people will pay for it, and understand how to go to the market. In this early stage, probably is the customer discovery and a little bit of customer validation. And this is something that is easy to talk, is something that sometimes we achieve in a few days, but to have this really sure and consolidated, probably we will need some months. Probably the 5 weeks you will have with us in this European co-working for edition will be enough. If you have something of this, if you done this work at home, you will be like in the starting point. So you have more than an idea, you have a project, but still you don't have a company because probably you are not selling, you don't have customers, and in a second stage, these are the main things you need to achieve. Get users and customers. I'm talking about users and customers because you know that in many of the projects, especially in internet, an user is important but is not paying, and the customers are the ones who pay. Also, that's happening in marketplaces where we have many times two kind of users, and it's difficult to define who is the user, who is the customer. Let's say that the customer is the one that is paying for it. Of course, many times if we are trying to create a community, if we are a marketplace, we will need to create a critical mass of users, and that means we will need to spend money and time in marketing, and that is something also to learn. That will be probably the first time we are going to sell something. If this is business to customer, if it's a B2C, that involves marketing, that involves know what are the channels and understand what is our customer acquisition cost. That will be one of the main metrics that we will need. If this is more a B2B, we are selling to companies, we will need to understand how to go to the companies, how to get the attention, how to close meetings, and how at the end to sell to them. That usually is a process that is not fast. That depends a little bit on the culture of the country and the culture of the company, but this is one of the main challenges we have in startups. How be small, new, but get customers for the big companies. So this is a process to learn, and if you have experience with corporates, maybe it will be easier. If not, you will need the help of the mentors to understand, let's say, the other side of the business. This is something, of course, that depending on your profile, will be like a challenge to go there, try to sell what you're doing, but this is a really rewarding moment, because if we are not selling anything, well, for me, we don't have a company. As I say, we have a project, but a company means sell things. As I say, get customers and users is also a challenge in terms of marketing. We will need to spend some money in experiments, and of course, here in this program, we can understand what is the process. That usually is quite general, but also if we are going to a new country, we will face different cultures, different behaviors, and probably we can understand if it makes sense for us to go to a new country, or maybe it's better to stay in Spain. Of course, if we are talking about startups and we would like to have a business that is big, is no question, it should be international for day one. But this is a good moment to understand if it's a big difference or not, and understand what are the markets that probably are more promising for us. If you have a company, if you are already selling, and many times that means that you have customers, that you have a team, that you are paying salaries, so that you have a company, you are like in the growing phase. It doesn't mean that you are profitable at all. Maybe you are getting profit every month, and probably you are trying to go to the break-even point. So in the moment that you are earning money and you pay all the investment that you have in the past. That means that if you would like to grow fast, let's say if your model is a startup, you will need to raise investment. And many times you can raise investment at home with the local support that in many places you have, maybe with ENISA, maybe with another programs with local business angels. But for medium and big rounds, you will need to have an international support. So it's a good moment to understand how investment works. That is internationally the same model, and you can get also contact with new investors and understand what are the options in the market. And of course, if you are trying to grow and you would like to become a company and a successful company, that means that you will be international. So that is the first step, and you can consider how to open a new market and how to do this. When I say that we have many challenges, this is something that also we talk. You can read that are problems. Okay, challenges is like the positive way to say problems. It doesn't matter. Everyone have with some problems. If you are small because you need to grow, if you have investment, because you have the investors asking what's happening, if you have a round of investment, probably you're looking for the next one. If you have customers because they are asking for support, if you have a product, maybe you would like to improve this. So don't worry, that's typical that all the companies I know, it doesn't matter what is the phase, they have challenges. The idea now is to know what are the challenges you have and find the best way to solve them. And what I will ask you now is to define concrete goals, and that will be the first activity we will have. Of course, everyone would like to earn money, to get customers, to improve, but this is so difficult to make something that is actionable, that you can create an action map about this. If you define your goals with numbers, with something, of course, it's not something really accurate, but let's say that if you say spend 1,000 euros in social networks during a month to get 500 users, you can check at the end of the month if you achieve this or not. If you say get customers, probably you will have, but it's difficult to know if you are successful or not. With these metrics, we can understand what is happening in our company. Of course, we will talk about what is real, what is not, what is so ambitious, what is not ambitious enough, and that is very important for the first activity. If you create these goals, that will be like the starting point of your action plan, because if you know what you need, or you know what you're trying to achieve, then the next step is to understand what are the resources you need. And I think for this program, maybe you are asking, okay, I would like to improve my business in Spain. How living in a new city could help me? I think you will find a match between your challenges and opportunity in Europe. That's true. And maybe this is a new moment, this is a new environment, and I'm sure you will discover new challenges because of this trip. So there are many things to do. Of course, you would like to do a lot of things. This is the backlog, like all the activities we would like to do. But at this moment, I think what is important is to set up like 3 main challenges. Something that is possible to do in the next month or in the next 2 months, let's say in the 5 weeks plus this month that will work in the trip. And I will ask you in the activity to set up those 3 main challenges. And set up this, that will be, you will have some questions. Let's say if we are talking about how to open a new market, how to sell a new market, the questions will be, is there a market for my project? Can I operate here from Spain? Sometimes it's possible if you have a digital company, you can do international affairs from your company, from your place. Sometimes you need a country manager, because if it's more B2B, you will need like presence, local presence. Many times are questions about the legal stuff. Is it needed to create a company in another country or not? Is enough to operate here? So this is something we will find, especially if you are trying to become international. And of course here the mentors and the local experts will help you. How to improve the business, because you can use this not for open a new market. You can improve your business finding new suppliers, maybe hiring people, maybe for your team, maybe as freelance, maybe as country manager, as I said, or you can discover new technology, new providers, new ideas that will be useful for you. I think at the end of this program, the main goal is to change your mindset, and you will find innovation opportunities, because you will find different companies, maybe competitors, but in other markets, and you can get ideas from them, and you can detect some things or some problems that your company will face in the future. And I will ask you to create this action plan with all these ideas and divide the goals into tasks. As I say, you have the 3 main goals, then you will define in different tasks. Maybe you are trying to open a new market or to create the interviews. You will say, okay, I need to talk with 5 big companies here. That means that you will need a pitch, you will need to have the interview script, you will need a contact, you will need an email to, like a template to contact with them. Maybe you will need a local phone. So everything that you need, you have to describe and understand if you are able to do this or if you need some help. The next step will say, okay, that will need 1 day or 1 week, and put this task into a calendar. With this, you will have like your weekly tasks, and you will have like an action plan for this program. And at the end, I'm asking you to do this because when you know what to do, everything is easier. If you don't know what you need, or you don't know what you achieve, it is not possible to be successful. So that will be our first activity, and I will help you to do this. Thank you.